1, 2, 3, 4. What up, y'all? Babylon 5 Podcast. It's your boy, Jermaine Event. This is episode 85. We're calling this bad boy Give Me a Sign. Give me a sign. Hope you guys' week has been phenomenal. My week has been okay, ladies and gentlemen. Just okay. This episode is Give Me a Sign. I'm touching on a few topics here, bouncing all over the place, but that's the point of the Babylon 5 Podcast, is just to babble and touch on whatever the fuck I feel like touching on. Whatever the fuck you guys want to hear me babble about, honestly. But as for now, whatever I just choose to babble on. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the social medias. If you want to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod. You can follow my personal account at My Name's Jermaine. You can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow this podcast at Babylon5.podbean.com. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcast stream. You know what just struck me as odd? As I was just saying, listing all these places, it's just like, nigga, if somebody's listening to this, they're most likely not going to go to any of these other places. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm listing this off. I feel like I should list this off. But as I'm listening it right now, I'm like, and I'm hearing it, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, only people that are hearing this are already listening to it on whatever platform they choose to listen. But whatever, you know. Listen to it again. Listen to the episode a second time and see how you feel on a different platform. How about that? If you guys are on Xbox, go ahead and add me. Gamer tag is SauceBoss414. Add me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Babylon5. Go ahead and check out the merchandise. Go to teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. I'm pretty sure they just shut down my Boars line. I was on the UFC website, and they had hoodies. Well, they had gear for Khamzat Chimaev that says Khamzat Chimaev on it, but then it says like Boars in white, like small on it. My Boars hoodies are simply just Boars hoodies. I wanted to put a wolf on it, like a symbol of a wolf, but that was like, I'm not an artist, and it was taking too long to try to even fuck with it, so I just didn't do it. But yeah, they took it down. So go ahead and get that Babylon 5 merch. Go to the teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. And you can support the podcast in general. Go to patreon.com/Babylon5pod. If you guys are on TikTok, go ahead and add a brother at Babylon 5 Podcast. Yo, shout out to everybody on TikTok that's ever used any of my songs for whatever. Maybe I mentioned this. I saw like, there was this one like girl who like used my song Board Man as she was, for her skateboarding. She was skateboarding in the video. And she used my song Board Man, which was a reference, well, just the chorus was a reference to, the song in general. But the chorus mainly was a reference to Kawhi Leonard, Board Man. Board Man gets paid. You know? Because that was when it was right before, it was before I put out The Grump, but I was putting out like a song every 2 weeks. It was like around the playoffs. It was during the NBA playoffs last year. And yeah, Kawhi was just balling. Not last year, the year before last year. When a nigga played for the Raptors. You know, when a nigga played for the Raptors, that's when it happened. So, anywho. Just a little update. I told you guys like a while ago that I got contacted for the Mr. Nice Guy podcast with Ben Slowly. And I will be doing that interview tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly when it drops, probably this week. So, be on the lookout for an interview with your boy, Jermaine Event, on the Mr. Nice Guy podcast this week. So, if you guys are following me, I'm sure I'll share it all over the place. Maybe throw some clips here and there, if you will, if I find it interesting. Maybe it's a terrible interview. Who knows? who knows? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's happening this week. Be on the lookout for Jermaine event on the Mr. Nice Guy podcast. It's weird, I just said Jermaine. I usually never say my name that way. Usually bothers me when people say it that way, but I randomly blurted it out that way. Today is Sunday. Easter Sunday, if you're one of those kinds, but I never really understood what was going on. I didn't even understand, like, today was a holiday. Like, shit was closed. I'm like, nigga, it's just Sunday. But apparently it's Easter Sunday. Seen niggas posting shit like, he has risen. If you niggas don't know, I'm not religious, all right? Not religious at all. I've tried to read through the Bible just on my own time, just because I was curious. What is these niggas? What is in here that niggas is like, yep, that's the truth. That's the truth. And I couldn't understand it. I couldn't find it. I couldn't understand what the hype was all about. There's a lot of wild-ass stories. Niggas like, what's the story? Sodom and Gomorrah? When the niggas was trying to what? They was trying to rape an angel, right? They're chasing an angel through the street to rape this angel. And it was a male angel. And he was banging on this door because he's an angel, but some whatever reason he needs to bang on this door to get away from this mob that's trying to rape him. And they let him in. The family inside is like a man. He's got a daughter, like a teenage daughter, and like the wife or whatever, or some shit like that. And the mob comes to the door, they're banging, like, let this man out so we can have him. And y'all probably know the story. They're like, let this man out so we can have him. And, in the biblical sense, that meant so we can lay with him or whatever they said. So they were saying they were going to rape him. Like that whole mob was going to run through this angel. But the random father was like, nah, that'd be wrong. You're not supposed to lay with a man. Take my 13-year-old daughter instead. She might have been 15, I don't know. But then sent his daughter out to the wolves to be handled by this mob because it would be wrong for them to take this man. Take my daughter instead. You niggas is crazy. But that was me personally. That's my personal opinion. I was like, what is in this book? And when I'm reading stories like this, I'm like, nah, bruh, this one ain't for me. If you put me in that situation, I'm not offering up my daughter. All right? Take this, nigga, you ain't coming in the first place. Nigga, I don't know, we didn't invite you. You just some random ass nigga banging on my door. You got a mob of niggas chasing you and I'm gonna just invite you in? Nigga, get off my porch. Take this from my house. This ain't got shit to do with me. That's how I thought. Reading the Bible. But I also thought, nigga, this whole Easter Sunday, so I'm seeing niggas post like, he is risen. He is risen. I might be coming off very ignorant here. Very ignorant. Pardon me. But I thought the whole point, I see niggas posting like, they're posting like, yo, he is risen. And I'm like, didn't he? He rose, right? Isn't that the story? Isn't that the story we're told? We're told the nigga was killed. They beat the shit out of this nigga, put him on a cross, stabbed the nigga. All this shit. Then 3 days later, the nigga came back to life, right? Is that the story? But if I remember correctly, the nigga came back to life and was like, yeah. Everybody's like, oh shit, Jesus is back. And he was like, yeah, I'm back, but shh, don't tell nobody right now. I'm just gonna go off on my own real quick. I'll see y'all later. And then he left, never to be seen again. Nigga was like, fuck that shit. They crucified a nigga. They crucified the nigga. They tried to rape an angel in Sodom and Gomorrah. They tried to gang rape an angel in Sodom and Gomorrah. Jesus Christ was like, fuck that shit. I just find the story interesting because I know, like, I'm a big fan of Joe Dirt. It's like my favorite movie. And shout out to David Spade. And they would say things like, is this where you want to be when Jesus comes back? Is this where you want to be? And it's like, didn't he already come back? and say, fuck that shit. I'm not interacting with people again. Like, I cured that nigga's blindness, and they killed me. Nigga, if this nigga's doing shit like that, y'all better bow the fuck down. I don't want to hear none of that shit. This nigga's walking on water. That nigga just turned fucking shit into bread. Did he turn some shit into bread? I don't know. He did something with bread and fish. Is that the thing? He did something with bread and fish? Nigga. I'm just saying, man, it sounded like he was passing out bread and fish like Nino Brown on Thanksgiving, my nigga. Jesus was out here. And they was like, fuck that. Fuck this almighty ass nigga. We gonna show this nigga how almighty he is. And then he came back to life on Easter Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, and was like, fuck that shit. I'm out of here. Because at that point, for me in the Bible, I'm like, why isn't he like, all right, I'm back. Let's keep the teachings going. He was like, no, fuck that shit. I thought that was the point of the day. So I don't know why I can't go to Outpost or just random stores. Why is everything closed today? Like, I don't understand what this holiday is. I didn't even know it was a holiday. Unfortunately. I'm not a religious person, you know. If I was a religious person, this episode would probably be called Lord, Give Me a Sign. But because I'm not a religious person, this episode is called Give Me a Sign. Unfortunately, the rapper DMX, I've seen reports where it says he overdosed, and I've seen other reports that are saying a heart attack. But heart attacks can often be brought on from drug overdoses. So let's just say there was a overdose. More of the reports I'm seeing are saying overdose. TMZ said overdose, and TMZ seems to know everything before they should ever know anything. They were the niggas that broke that Kobe Bryant died. And me just thinking about who TMZ is and how I feel about TMZ being so grimy, I immediately dismissed it. Until like 15 minutes later, I started getting more notifications. It's like, I'm like, this is fucking real? Kobe Bryant is dead? You know what I'm saying? It was fucking TMZ that reported that. So TMZ seems to know everything first, for whatever that's worth. And yeah, they said the nigga OD'd. And the reports are he has little brain activity. He's in a vegetative state. And it's looking like DMX will not pull through. He's 50 years old. So I believe he was born December 18th, 1970. He just started to come back to society, There was claims that he was sober now, but I didn't really believe it, personally. One, you just, like, got out of prison, where I'm a big fan of, like, the prison genre. And if there's anything in prison that's in abundance, it's fucking hard. Drugs is in abundance in prison, and that's where he spends a lot of his past fucking 10, 20 years is just in prison. But he comes out, he was doing a little better, gaining some weight, and had a versus battle with Snoop Dogg. I didn't watch that because I just don't get the whole versus thing. But man, DMX was definitely one of my favorite rappers growing up. First rap album I bought, like, with my own money that I earned. I was like 14. And I bought, I won this, it was a video contest or whatever, the film festival in middle school. And I won a gift card from the film festival. So I went and bought JoJo's album. And then I felt weird just only buying JoJo's album, like her debut album when that came out. So I went and bought DMX's Grand Champ. Both great albums. It's just wild, man. I seen Freddie Gibbs posting about how he's just saying, like, you know, a person's gonna be a person. Like, you know, we all thought DMX was better, but he's saying if you just always know a liar is going to lie to you, a thief is going to steal from you, and you know what I'm saying. That's the point. And unfortunately, that life has gotten the best of DMX. It's not looking too good. So if he passes here, man, rest in peace to DMX, man. Man, it's just, I'm curious, what was his arrest for? Was it for drug possession? I think, like, maybe, like, I don't know, man. I know he moved away to Montana just to get away from everybody. Just to be able to do whatever the fuck he wanted. So I'm like, what was he always getting arrested for? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it was, but maybe it was drug charges. Damn, they changed this shit. I just updated my laptop. Well, updated the other day, and they changed so much. The display is better, but now I don't know how to change certain things. They've changed a lot here. Fuck. And I don't do them tutorials because I'm a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? I don't do those tutorials, young lady. When it fucking pops up like, oh, we got tutorials for you, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm fucking good. Damn. I don't know if you guys hear that laptop going crazy. Shit's been sounding like it's overheating. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little break. 1 second here. DMX. Rest in peace. So moving on to this next subject here. For the past week, there's been a lot of controversy. I don't know if this thing overheats, it overheats. I'm just going to try to push through. But there was a lot of controversy this last week over this new Lil Nas X video. And I didn't watch it until just now. I wanted to wait until right before the podcast. And then I wanted to give you my reaction to the Montero Call Me By Your Name. And I was like, oh, I'm probably going to see some real crazy, like real graphic shit in here. But no, there was a openly gay man kissing and being sexual with men. And then at one point, he fucking is giving a lap dance to this Satan character. And then he breaks Satan's neck and then takes his fucking crown, takes those thorns and becomes the new Lord of the Underworld. He becomes the devil. I'm watching this video like, yo, this video is phenomenal. The visuals in this video is phenomenal. And the song is fucking catchy as shit. What are you guys talking about? How is there controversy? Y'all are crazy. That's what I'm saying. I gave y'all my whole rant earlier. It's Easter Sunday. Somehow this all worked out perfectly. I planned to watch this video. That was the first thing I put in my notes for this episode. And I didn't know Easter was coming up. I don't follow. But people have been really upset about this video. It's been controversy. And I'm watching it now like, what did y'all expect? I mean, I guess I don't understand the whole outrage of the whole Christians are like, wait, no. He's depicting a character from our story that we all actively talk about every week and try to avoid. We talk about, it's like Voldemort. He's depicting our character. That probably means he's a Christian because a non-Christian wouldn't depict our characters. It wouldn't mean anything to anyone outside of our religion. Is that what, like, that's what I pick up from it. If he's using these symbols, that means he's grown up with these Christian stories, with these Christian symbols. This Satan shit is Christian. It's Christianity. It's not in a fucking made-up story over here. It's in Christianity. That's what that is. Also, this nigga had some... See, now it's crazy. Because I saw the shoes he put out that were like $1,018. Apparently, it had some Bible reference that was apparently a reference to Satan. There's like 1018, something 1018. I'm not a religious person. I'm not well versed on the Bible. But the shit was cold, my nigga. Had like pentagrams on it, or grams on it. Had fucking blood, nigga. It's got blood in the fucking sole of the shoe. The shit look cold, nigga. I'm not a sneakerhead. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care for sneakers. My biggest concern at this point in life when it comes to shoes is if they're comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a sneakerhead. But I was like, God damn, I'd love a pair of them shoes with the blood in them, in the soles, nigga. With the blood in them. Y'all crazy. This nigga Lil Nas X just dropped fucking flame-ass shoes. But you guys are scared. You're scared that your Jesus will say, you guys like that music after he did that? And then your Jesus will say, I thought I told you niggas not to judge anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's what he should say to you fuck niggas. They're like, no, you can't do this. Oh, Jesus wouldn't like it. And then your Jesus is like, nigga, I told you not to judge nobody. I got it, nigga. Anywho, that's me. Every time these Christians were like, no, it's wrong. You're not supposed to do it. I'm like, didn't they tell you not to do what you're doing right now? Yet let the nigga who is without sin cast the first stone. Is that not what y'all niggas preach? Can I get an amen? Can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah. When I see these phenomenal shoes from Lil Nas X, Old Town Road, phenomenal song. And you niggas tried to kill him after y'all found out he was talking about getting fucked. He's talking about sipping lean and adultery. He's talking about a man. You know how niggas tried to kill Frank? But I'm seeing these phenomenal shoes. Seeing this video with amazing visuals. And the song is phenomenal. It should be like, oh shit, this nigga's he's a star. He's a fucking star. That's where it should be. But you niggas is like, nope. I read some things in this book that I'm scared of. And even though all these things, you know what I'm saying? It's like you had the fighter John Jones who was talking about burning all his Nike shit because Lil Nas X's shoe has the Bible reference to Satan or whatever. And it's like, nigga, you were caught just recently. I mean, you've been caught like cheating on your wife plenty times, like with strippers, all kinds of shit. But recently, like a year or two ago, he got arrested. The video came out. He's sitting there drunk in his car texting some girl. Like the whole the text conversation is like right there on the fucking screen, like in the video. And it's like, so all your sins, you bypass everything it says in the Bible until one thing right here that you don't agree with happens, and you're like, nope, that's wrong, I'm religious, and we don't stand for that. But what about all the other shit you're doing that doesn't go with the shit you're preaching? I never understood this with most religious people. They usually get upset at gay people, at any type of like, and it's like, bro, you fucking commit adultery, you niggas like steal, you niggas do all this other shit and you make excuses. But if this nigga over here does this, you're like, oh no, it's wrong. God said no. God said don't steal. God said don't say my name in vain, nigga. Did you do that? Because if you do that, if you hear somebody take the Lord's name in vain, I want you to be just as mad about that as you are about this music video. Because it's all things in the Bible that was not supposed to go down, right? Even though you're not supposed to judge anybody. I need you to keep that same energy anytime you see anything happen. You see somebody commit adultery, oh, fuck that person. I don't stand for this. Was he fucking wearing a Nike condom? When he was committing that adultery, I'm burning every fucking thing Nike. Oh, they didn't agree for Tiger Woods to wear that Nike condom when he was cheating on his wife? Oh, okay. That's what the shit is. John Jones is like, oh, I'm going to burn all my Nike shit. And Nike's like, whoa, bro, we didn't approve over it. And he's like, oh, okay. I guess it doesn't matter. I was repeatedly getting caught cheating on my wife. I guess it doesn't matter. All my DUIs, I drove fucking intoxicated, ran my car into a pregnant woman, like hit another car of a pregnant lady. Like, he's done all this shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm just picking him out because he was public about it. But there's just, like, so many people who are upset with this video over nonsense when they don't hold themselves to any standard at all. First off, this Lil Nas X song is fucking phenomenal. And I can't wait to stop fucking recording this episode so I can put that song back on. It's fucking great. So fuck anybody that has anything negative to say about Lil Nas X or this song, because it's fucking great. Fuck you guys. You know, the other day, yesterday, my wife, I don't know how it, she was showing me that, like, they got, like, stronger Trulies and shit and all that. They have, like, they would say, like, extra or something. It'll be, like, 8%. And I'm like, nah, that's hobo juice. And it took me back to, like, when niggas was 16. I was, like, 16. If I was 16, everybody else was 15. Because I was born 89 in November, so I started a year later because I was born past the August cutoff. So I was older than everybody. And, but I couldn't grow facial hair until I was like fucking 24, nigga. Like, I couldn't grow facial hair until I was like 24. I got a mustache right now. It's my first mustache. I'm not even fucking with y'all. This is my first real mustache. I'm 31. And I finally got a real mustache, and I'm rocking it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm rocking that stash. And, but back when we were 16, me and the boys, the white boys, there was one kid, Anthony, who grew a mustache. And at this point, you know, they would get into shenanigans. They would try to get into shenanigans. I later found out they were getting into a lot more shenanigans than I could have imagined when I was not around, because they knew I wasn't with the shits. So Anthony had a fucking he grew a mustache. He's like 15. He's the only person out of us who grew facial hair. But he had the idea, he had it in his head that since he had facial hair, he could then purchase alcohol from the corner market down the street, out there in Bayview, just like right down the street from Tippy Canoe, or right down, it's like Clement Avenue School, and it's just like, there's like a laundromat, maybe a meat butcher or some shit next to next to Clement Ave, and then you're at the corner market. They got like a fucking Giannis mural on the side, but his idea was that, fuck it, he's got a mustache, they'll think he's 21. And I'm like, dude, we all look like children. And even now at 31, I look back at pictures of me and it's like, dude, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way I would have saw me at that age and was like, yeah, sell them alcohol. Never. But, nigga, we go to this corner market. He's got his mustache. We kind of stand off to the side, but we're still in the store, which is like even more sketchy. If anything, if he felt like he could have bought it, but we still all look like children. Like, he still looked like a child with a mustache, but he was the only one with facial hair, and we all just looked like babies. So we should have stayed back, but we all came in the store, and he grabbed four packs of fucking Steel Reserves, nigga. 211s. $2.11 for the 4-pack. hobo juice, nigga. And like fucking, and I'm like, it's never gonna work, you know. And the fucking dude at the fucking corner market, like heavier set white boy with a ponytail, look greasy, sold him the fucking Steel Reserves. There's like other adults in the store. I think everybody was shocked at what was going on. Everybody was like, what the fuck? He sold us Steel Reserves, put these 4 packs in plastic bags, 2 in each, double bagged it, gave it to Anthony, and we all left. And we're all like fucking, it's like four or 5 of us. And we're like kind of like almost running because we look like we're children with a shit ton of fucking beer. First off, it's like, yo, super illegal, but it's like, yo, shit, they got beer, they're hype. They got beer, they're about to get fucked up. Me, on the other hand, I was always like my mom was always real, like, on it about how, like, I don't know, just about being cautious with certain things. So I always felt like if anything went down while I was with those white boys, like, I'd be the person they thought to blame. Like, if the police came, I'd be the person that they saw as the ringleader. And usually anytime that I've had contact with police, things have turned out that way. So I always felt that. Even another time with the same crew, when the St. Francis police, when Anthony broke into a fucking garage, they came downstairs, saw me, and was like, check them for weapons, like immediately screamed, check me for weapons. It was all these other people. I'm asleep. I'm the only person asleep in the room. They see me and was like, check them for weapons. I heard this from everybody else because I'm asleep at the time. But, so I felt that way as we're running back basically to this other kid's house and his other kid's mom's house, and fucking 16 with these beers, and he sold it to us. It was the most shocking thing. It was like, oh shit, all we needed was fucking facial hair, and niggas would just assume we're 21. It's pretty crazy. But I later found out that fucking corner market clerk was a fucking creep. He was hanging out with kids, like getting kids drunk and smoking with kids apparently. Like, we were fucking teenagers. He sold us fucking beer, and apparently he was doing that to everybody. He was doing that for everybody. It started to be a well-known thing, because he was, like, literally hanging out with teenagers outside, like, after work and shit. Getting motherfuckers fucked up. That was just a weird, crazy story. Pretty sure they drank that fucking 211s, got fucked up however much they did. If anything, I probably had a sip and thought it was nasty. I was pretty straight edge back in those days until maybe I was like just before I turned 18. I was pretty straight edge. I didn't do anything. You know, I had my reasons, but I think I've gone over it on here, but I had my reasons. But oh man, I was going to talk about this. No, we're going to skip that. I was going to talk about teachers getting exposed for their racism on Zoom, but I don't know. I ain't getting into that. You know what I think is fucking real weird is that they were talking about it on the Joe Budden podcast. What's her name? Bad Baby, the chick from the Catch Me Outside girl, apparently turned 18 and started a OnlyFans. And immediately made $1 million, apparently. Immediately. Like, in a few hours, made $1 million in subscribers on OnlyFans. And it's weird because... Well, it's weird for me because... To me, that just says, like, all those people that jumped on that the second she turned 18... Y'all were fucking pedophiles. Just watching her this whole time. You were watching this child this whole time. Lusting after this child the whole time. It's just a creepy fucking pedophile culture, man. That's like... It's pretty mainstream if you think about it. Because as I'm thinking about this shit with this bad baby girl, $1 million immediately as she turns 18 and starts an OnlyFans, which I'm like pretty sure like there's like no content on it. Like she just started it, so like they're just fucking. It's just they're cruel pedophiles that are just like, oh shit, they've been stalking this little girl since she said catch me outside. But it reminded me of like how creepy this shit is and how mainstream this whole pedophile culture is. Like, I remember when I was younger, how openly niggas would talk about the countdown for Mary-Kate and Ashley turning 18. And, like, as an adult, like, I was a child. I was younger than Mary-Kate and Ashley at the time, you know what I'm saying? So, like, at the time, I thought it was funny. But, like, if niggas right now, like, if niggas were like, ooh, like, years ago, I think she's over 18 now, but if niggas were like, ooh, countdown for Billie Eilish, you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole fucking Drake. They said, oh, Drake texted her when she was, like, 17, and that was controversial. Now, just imagine these days. You got fucking Ashton Kutcher, who's, like, the celebrity who's all about... He's the main celebrity that speaks out against child trafficking. I remember him before Punk'd having like a real fucking countdown. He'd constantly bring up like, countdown for Mary-Kate and Ashley to turn 18, which is him like, yo, I want to fuck these fucking girls. Like, it's illegal. It's illegal for you to even be talking about this. I feel like all that shit, like, is a crime. Him talking about fucking Mary-Kate and Ashley, or the countdown to fuck Mary-Kate and Ashley, seems pretty illegal to me in hindsight. But he wasn't the only person that was like openly like, oh, I'm waiting for Mary-Kate and Ashley to turn 18. You know, I remember when fucking, what was the song? Cause every girl, Lil Wayne, Young Money, I wish I could fuck every girl in the world. At the time when that came out, I was like, 17, 18, maybe even 19. And Mac Main said, in about 3 years, holla at me, Miley Cyrus. He's talking about fucking a 15-year-old girl. Yes, he said, in about 3 years, holla at me, Miley Cyrus, but that shit should not fly, bruh. You're talking about fucking a child. It's just a weird culture that we live in where that shit is mainstream. I think I seen like the bad baby, like she got a rap contract. She got a record deal like immediately after doing this Catch Me Outside stuff. And she was like, I don't know, man. The video was like, I saw like some of the first videos she put out. And I thought it was inappropriate, and I shut it off. I thought it was inappropriate. I was like, who the fuck is backing this? Who the fuck is like, yo, yeah, that's all right. That's the look. That's what we want to put out. I was like, yo, who's behind all this shit? It all felt illegal to me. It all felt illegal to me. But then I think back as an adult now, how often that shit was out there. How often niggas would talk about, like, and it was like a cool thing. Like, oh, this person's almost about to be 18, blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, man, you should keep all those thoughts in your mind if that's how you feel. It should not be okay for you to, should not be socially acceptable for you to be plotting on these minors, is my point here. It's just gross, that bad baby. I mean, as an adult, do your thing, but it's weird that so many people jumped on it immediately. It means y'all niggas was plotting on this child, is what it means. To Jermaine event. UFC news here. Got some fights announced, man. We got Cyril Gane taking on Alexander Volkov on June 26th, and I'm very hyped for this fight. I mean, Dude, Alexander Volkov is a beast. All right, he's got fucking beautiful striking, beautiful precise striking, super tall, got great reach. Surreal Ghan is just real great with his striking. He's got like a great arsenal of weapons. His footwork is phenomenal. He's got a nice ground game. This fight is actually crazy, man. Like, I was saying that I believe that Surreal Ghan would be the toughest matchup for Francis Ngannou with his style and the fact that they've trained together for years. But I think this is a test right here. If we see how Surreal Ghan does, if Surreal Ghan convincingly beats Alexander Volkov, then that tells me he might just be ready to face Francis. Maybe one more fight. Maybe he needs one more fight. Maybe he needs to beat a Derek Lewis. And then at that point, he's ready to... He's shown me enough. If he could deal with a fighter with that kind of knockout, that one-punch knockout power, if he could properly game plan against a fighter like Derek Lewis after beating Volkov, if he's successful here, then I think we're ready to see him take on Francis Ngannou in what could be a pretty phenomenal heavyweight fight. I think it'd be a heavyweight fight. I think it would be visually something we've never seen at heavyweight. With the striking and movement that we're going to see in that fight, it would be probably one of the greatest heavyweight fights we've ever seen in mixed martial arts. So I'm excited for that fight. Another fight announced, which is a fucking hype fight, dude. Fucking Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fighting Gilbert Burns, July 10th at UFC 64, man. You already know Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is just Wonderboy Thompson. He's the karate guy, beautiful striking. He just fucked up Vicente Luque. He had 2 wars with Tyron Woodley previously. Had one go to the draw. Second fight went to Woodley. He recently beat Vicente Luque, who Luque just beat Woodley in the first round. So MMA math means nothing. It just means that Woodley has declined at a much, I would say it means that he's declined just so much more rapidly than Wonderboy, who's pretty up there in the age too. But that's going to be a great fight. Stephen Thompson versus Gilbert Burns. I was rewatching the Gilbert Burns-Usman fight yesterday, actually, and I remembered Burns just like maybe getting 1 or 2 shots, like good punches early in the fight. I know he like almost dropped him. He like knocked him to his knees with the first punch, or with that first big punch. But there was even still, like, in the second round, there was some exchanges where he was, like, still stunning Usman. So, like, I'm real interested in how this fight is going to go. We know Burns has the ground advantage, but, you know, every fight starts out on the feet. And that jab, we saw that switch jab was just a lot of trouble for Gilbert Burns, and I don't think a jab is going to be... A good jab is definitely in the arsenal for Wonderboy, and Wonderboy can throw out that front kick, like, so fast to the fucking chin. He'd get it up to your chin real quick. That, you know what I'm saying? He's got all kinds of arsenals there, so if I had to take a pick, I'd go Wonderboy. But, yeah, that's going to happen July 10th in a 3-round fight. In a fucking beautiful turn of events, we got Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards in a 5-round non-title co-main event. It'll be on the same night as Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler for the lightweight belt. And this is the co-main event. You got Nate Diaz returning versus Leon Edwards, man. I don't really have a pick. I mean, I want Nate to win that fight. I want Nate to fight Usman. It's just, that would be interesting. I'd much rather see Nate fight Usman now than fucking Masvidal. I'd rather see almost anybody fight Usman than Masvidal, since we just saw Masvidal lose. He got like 50-43'd. So I would love to see Nate. Everybody would love to see Nate fight for the belt. They're doing a crowd for this pay-per-view, and that card sold out in like minutes, they said. A matter of minutes, 17,000 fans, sold out in minutes. Nate Diaz is back, and I hope he wins this fight. And the trilogy fight is signed. It's agreed upon. Conor McGregor will take on Dustin Poirier July 10th in the main event to headline UFC 246. As I said before, you got Stephen Thompson and Gilbert Burns on that card. I'm not sure if that's the co-main event or not. But Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3 is happening July 10th. And I'm hoping for my boy Notorious. You know, he was looking good in that the second fight. He was looking good, so I think, it's only a few adjustments he needs to make to really, he was all focused on boxing at the time, so I feel like there's only a few adjustments he needs to make to really go out there and get the W. So I'm going with Conor in that one, and hopefully he does it. Next week, we got an early card. We have UFC 22 or UFC Vegas 22 or UFC Vegas 23, but UFC ABC 2. I think UFC on ABC 2. It was originally going to be headlined by Marvin Vettori versus Darren Till, but they actually wanted it to be Paulo Costa versus Robert Whittaker when that fight was booked, but Paulo Costa refused to move the fight up to fight on this date. So then they booked Darren Till versus Marvin Vettori. Darren Till just broke his collarbone, so now we have Marvin Vettori stepping up, or we have Marvin Vettori fighting Kevin Holland on 2 weeks' notice. And, you know, we just saw Kevin Holland fight Derek Brunson. He struggled with the grappling aspect. I don't know if there's been enough time for him to possibly address any grappling issues in there. I feel like Vettori is definitely, after seeing that fight, going to shoot and try to take him down and beat him up on the ground. He's not going to just hold him. He's not just going to hold him on the ground and control him. He's going to beat that man up on the ground. So, unless, you know, it's like, here's a chance here for Holland to show us something. To show us that he gives a fuck. Because in that last fight, I left out of there thinking, I don't care to see this man fight again. You know? I left out of that fight thinking, he's just wasted all our time. He's wasting all his talent. And my whole point was, like, if everybody else is trying to fight to be the best, and you're just in there like, well, I don't care. I didn't get lucky and catch him. Essentially was how it was. Like, you just gave up in there. And it's saying, like, he was like, I'm just going to keep being me. I'm just going to keep talking and blah, 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 joking around, man. I was losing. But so he has this chance right now to even if he can't address the grappling issues in such a short time, just show that you care, man. Show me something. Show me a different attitude in there. Even if you're going to talk shit, don't just keep talking to people outside of the fight, outside of the octagon, while you're losing. Show me that you give a shit about what's happening and change the narrative for Kevin Holland, man. Now, some other interesting fights on this card, man. We got Mackenzie Dern taking on Nina Ansaroff in her return after giving birth to her and Amanda Nunes' baby. So this is her first fight back against Mackenzie Dern, man. You know, clearly in the striking, I would say Nina Ansaroff has it. Dern looked pretty good with her striking. She was pretty fierce and going at it. It looked like Cyborg. I think she's training with the same coach as Cyborg or something like that. And her striking looked a lot better. But I think Nina is definitely going to have the advantage, as we know. But if it goes to the ground, it's all Dern all day. That's a very interesting fight. don't have a pick just yet. A fight that I'm real excited to see, fucking Mike Perry versus Daniel Rodriguez. That's fucking hype. As I said last week, Mike Perry was initially scheduled to fight Robbie Lawler, but Lawler had to pull out of that fight, and then they rebooked the fight with Daniel Rodriguez, and I think it had to be rebooked again to this date. But now we're getting Mike Perry versus Daniel Rodriguez, and I think Daniel Rodriguez will beat the shit out of Mike Perry. That's my personal opinion. I'm pretty sure Perry was talking about how he was planning to have a real corner going forward, but he wanted to make a point before. So, like, I'm not sure who he trains with. Maybe he was talking about training with Yoel Romero. I don't know if he's still training with Yoel, but I think Daniel is just better than him everywhere. Like, Perry's good, he's strong, he's powerful, but so is Daniel Rodriguez, and he's fucking Mexican, man. He's tough as shit, dude. And I think he's just better than Perry everywhere. So I don't really see any route to victory for Mike Perry other than just, a puncher's chance to fucking knock him out, catch him one good time, luckily, and get a knockout. Otherwise, I see Daniel Rodriguez absolutely dominating Mike Perry. Then you got Luis Saldana taking on Milwaukee's Jordan Griffin, man. I'm not sure who I would take in that fight, man. I would probably say Luis Saldana. I'm rooting for Jordan Griffin. I root for everybody from the hometown, you know what I'm saying, all the time. But I don't know. I don't like what I've seen from Rufus Sport in general. I like Pura Vida. I like the fighters out of Pura Vida, except for Zach Otto. I mean, he's older, so like I don't remember seeing him fight when he was younger. But as an older fighter, I was like, damn, he kept losing. And all the fights that I saw him in, he was like losing. So like my opinion is not too valid at all. I'm only based off of what I'm saying. My thing is, as far as MMA is concerned, I know that I haven't seen like all the shit from the beginning, but I know what I have seen, and I'm trying my best to like stay aware of what's going on forward, because eventually that shit will be relevant, to a point, but all the shit that I have here now will be more relevant. All the knowledge that I have, that I'm accumulating now of the sport, of the athletes here, in 20 years, it'll be much more relevant. So, and all that other knowledge that was relevant, that started 20 years ago, it'll be relevant, definitely, but everything that I'm doing right now and keeping attention to will be much more relevant in 20 years, in 10 years, 20 years from here than, the stuff where people were fighting with shoes on. But, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys social media. If you want to follow this podcast on Instagram and Twitter, it's at Babylon5Pod. You can follow my personal account at My Name's Jermaine. You can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow this podcast at Babylon5.podbean.com. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcast stream, my nigga. If you niggas got Xbox, go ahead and add me at my gamer tag is SauceBoss414. Go ahead and add me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Babylon5. You can go ahead and buy some merchandise at teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. And don't just be my Negro, be my patron. Be my patron. Go to patreon.com/Babylon5Pod. And if you niggas is on TikTok, go ahead and add it, brother, at Babylon5 Podcast. This is episode 85. Give me a sign. That's my favorite DMX song. Lord, give me a sign. I've never been religious, but like something about religious music that I love. Jesus Walks, like right away, like I heard Jesus Walks and I put that on repeat, nigga. I bought that Kanye album. Wasn't religious at all. super atheist. And Jesus Walks came on. And for like 2 days, I couldn't get past Jesus Walks. I remember like after a day, I was like, all right, I'm going to start the album over and just try to get past Jesus Walks, and I couldn't. Once it got to Jesus Walks, it was like, nope, this is the best song on the album. And Lord, Give Me a Sign is my favorite DMX song, regardless of me not being religious, man. It's just great music, man. It's like people when they, because even though I'm not religious, it's like people who are religious like that for Kanye or DMX, when they express that passion for it like that, it's just beautiful, man. But my heart goes out to DMX and his family, you know, and everybody, man. I hope everybody's taking care of themselves and each other. And I'll see you when I see you. I'll holla.